Now it's time to figure out where and how we're going to install the amplifier into this vehicle. The amplifier of choice is the Arc Audio Blackbird, and the area in which we are going to mount it is here underneath the driver's front seat. As you can see, we've already unbolted the seat and folded it up, and there is a ton of room for it to be situated in. However, we just need to figure out, does it go here, does it go there, is it up here? I don't know. But before we can do all that, let's head over to the bench. Let's unbox the amplifier and talk a little bit about it so you guys know what it is we're putting in. This is the Arc Audio Blackbird. It is a 1000 watt 8-channel DSP amplifier with 4 dedicated RCA outputs. Taking a look inside the box. First up is this big harness here. This is the speaker output harness. One of the unique things about this particular harness is if we take a closer look, we'll notice where it has this red wire here is positive, and it goes positive and then it skips, positive, and it skips and skips. All of these wires on the top here are positive. If we flip the harness over, it's going to be black, then skip, black, then skip, black, then skip. All of these wires down here are negative. What that means is that one of the wires is going to have the indication for the polarity that the wire is. So for example, this one is going to have the black, so we know this is black, and that this is going to be positive because the black stripe is here. Just like if we grab the red stripe wire, we know this is going to be a positive and the other side will be a negative. The reason why they do it that way is if you want to bridge the amplifier, the red stripe on the corresponding set, so let's say channel 1 and channel 2, the red stripe is positive for bridging and the black stripe is negative for bridging. The thought is it'll make it a little bit easier if deciding to bridge the amplifier, which we'll be doing onto our subwoofer, so channel 7 and 8 we'll be using that red and that black wire. Let's move the amp out of the way for a minute and take a look at what else comes in here. A serial number sticker, the USB programming cable, and then this bag here. These are going to be our 2 input cables. One, this wired version here, is just for high level input, maybe. This one here is our RCA input. Positive and negatives are located in the same place. Channels are located in the same place. The only difference is this is a speaker wire and this has a female RCA on the end. We're going to be doing high level, which means we're going to be using this cable here. However, we also use this cable if we're doing low level. I'm not a big fan of having this like this. I want it to be staggered, so this makes it kind of difficult, and I don't like this. So what we'll do is we actually use this, we twist them together, and then we'll run these up, and then we'll solder our own male RCAs into it so that it can go into whatever source unit it's going to be powered by. Pro tip. We'll put this back in the box. Now let's take a look at the amplifier itself. It is a very compact amplifier by design. This is not made to be flashy and hey, look at me. Although it does have a very striking appeal to it and its basic simplicity. It is made to be put in a place like we're putting it, behind a panel under a seat. This is AR compliant, which means if this was an iData AR vehicle, we could plug directly into this by taking the factory amplifier out in an AR module and we're in business. So this has all 3 options available to it as far as integration goes: high level, low level, and AR. But that had a direct reflection on how the amplifier was conceived and its look. They kept it very simple, very compact, so that it could go in those locations. But it has a ton of features, which we could see when we look on the side of the amplifier here. Starting on the left side of the amplifier, the input connector is located right here. Take note, it starts with number 1 and ends with number 8. The BTM controller plugs in here. We have an optical input, auto sense, DC off or signal. We'll switch it now to DC. It's important to do that now because your speaker plug sits on top of it like this. It makes it very hard to see after it's installed, and if your amplifier isn't turning on because you haven't selected the proper input, let's just say it can be a bit annoying. Output plug is located above it, as we said. It starts with number 8 and goes to number 1. The reason why this is important is because remember, over here it starts at 1 and goes to 8. So these two are flipped on one another. So when connecting them, keep that in mind. They give you the bridge diagram here. You have the AXP input, the PSC input, our LR1 remote input that we'll be using. The USB input for programming is located here. Above that is our remote in, remote out. Make sure if connecting other amplifiers in conjunction with this, you use the remote out to power those. So come directly into this and then go out. In this case, because we were using DC offset, we would just use the out to turn on any amplifiers we ever added to in the future. And then profile 1 and profile 2 allow you to connect a toggle switch, allow you to do a manual preset change if you're not using any one of the controllers that do that. Channels 11 and 12 and 9 and 10 are located here. 4-gauge power and ground input, as well as the 90 amps of fusing, and the white connector here is our iData input. And like I said, very small, very compact, but tons of options for you to choose from. Let's get this over to the car and come up with a plan as far as how we plan on building an amp rack to mount this. This is the space for the amplifier. Air vents, seat rails, and this is the amplifier. My thinking is I want to put it somewhere in this area right here. Keeps it out of the way of the vent. And just the way this is shaped underneath here, this is, to me, this pocket just seems like the perfect place to put it. I toyed with the idea of putting it like here in this area. That moves it farther back into the foot area. Over here, it just seems to hide perfect out of the way. For mounting, I have this spot right here, and this is also the ground screw next to it. So I can attach my amplifier here, and I can use the back seat brace as a mount instead of coming all the way up front here to this front, because this has got a bunch of bends in it. And so some scratch paper and a pen and a tape measure, and that'll get me started. Coming to the back area here and up to the front area where I want this to screw in is about 22 inches. And what I like to do is kind of draw the shape on how I want it to be first. So we know there's going to be a long line here on the side, and then it's going to indent, go to the little tooth that's going to stick out, come down and come over, and then I have my air vent here. And I'm thinking about giving me some real estate in this because there's a line in the carpet, so that will make this come out, go down, and that will bring me to this area and back to the leg. So this gives me a rough sketch of what I want the shape to look like, and now I can add in my numbers, 22 being how long it needs to be. Now we need to figure out the widest point, and to do that we'll start with what would be the shortest point. So how far out do we want to make this? Now, way over here is a crease in the line, which is where the seat stops. If I come in an inch from that, that makes it 9 inches. We can get the amp out of the way. So we'll say this area here for that space is 9 inches. And then if I move that over and come to that, that's about 12 inches. Come back to my 9, and now I need to figure out where this is. So if I'm coming from here, about 2 1/4, and we'll say 4 1/4. Notice I'm drawing the arrows in where I took the measurement, so I know how to measure. Once I get over to the saw, the next one I need is this. If I come here, it's at 6, so that's 3. So this guy is going to be 3 inches. And now we need to come and get the measurements the other way. So this is going to be 6 inches from the back to this first bend, and then out to the AC where the 12, that's going to be 11 1/2. 11 1/2. This, and then this is going to stop here at, we'll say 19. This convoluted piece of paper that I've just put together with all these numbers on it, this allows me to then take this over, and I know my maximum size is 22 by 12. I can cut that out, and then I can transcribe all these measurements onto it by the arrows, knowing if I start at this end, go up 6, go up 11 1/2, go up 19, I can get all my diagonals. And then if I come from the straight side over 9, that'll give me my first piece here, and then if I draw that line up and come over 2 1/4 and 4 1/4, I'll get my little tooth there, right? Makes total sense. I'm sure it does. And here is the final piece. After doing some test fitting, I had to put in a flange here to compensate for the flange here on this because I wanted it to fit nice and snug. I took my heat gun at the very end and heated up this piece and then put it in the car and let the seat sit on top of it to give me my final bend. And I did have to notch the top here for the screw that's the ground that's located right here, as well as this big guy here. I needed to add a provision to notch that. I rounded this corner to match the angle here at this corner, and when I drop it all in place, what I end up with is an amp rack, and my amp can come in and sit just like so. That'll allow me to bring in my power and grounds this way, and then all my signals can come into this area and go underneath the vent and head up into the dash area, keeping everything nice and clean and simple. And then I can add a screw here to bolt this down into place. Sounds like a perfect plan. What I'm probably gonna do is router a hole here so that my power wires just dump down in, because I want to get this ground point and I don't want to drag it across the front where you can see it. I'll just attach it to the back side of the amp rack and come probably through this hole over here and attach into this. My power wire will come up and just come into the amplifier, and then the signal wires will just be draped over through here. I'll probably do the same hole through the bottom for the bass knob wire to locate that also underneath, because this is all hollow up underneath here, so I do have room. And then I'll mount the amplifier in what looks like about 1/4 of an inch from this side and 1/4 of an inch from the back side, and that'll put the amp just right in the right position. Let's head over to the bench and we'll start getting this thing wired up.